Live in downtown Detroit, Local 4 live stream with Jason Carr starts now.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. Just one thing I need you to watch this. We're among the first to play this. Do you know that, John?
We're the first? We're one of the first?
Among the first.
Among the first. It's a... we get a title?
Surprise! You didn't know I was going to lead with this, did you?
I did not know that. I don't have graphics prepared for
Cubs
Christmas.
fans, all they want for Christmas is a World Series title, and they got it!
They got it.
How about that? They don't need Mariah Carey. They've got Bill Murray and their Cubbies. You know, that's a long time, 1908.
1908, way back when.
Good morning to you here on a Friday Eve. All right, let's get into it. What was going on back in 1908?
Back in 1908, it was a busy year back then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What say you?
The Hoover vacuum was invented in 1908. The original Hoover, changing the carpet industry forever. The upright portable vacuum cleaner was invented on August 8th. No, I'm sorry. It was invented in June by a Canton, Ohio department store janitor, James Murray Spangler, who was an asthmatic and was looking for something to replace the carpet sweeper.
Hang on. We need to jazz up this photo a little bit here.
There it is. So he needed a vacuum cleaner for Christmas, and he sold the patent to William Henry Hoover, who started producing this vacuum cleaner. That was the first upright vacuum.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Also in 1908, Selfridge. Thomas Selfridge became the first person to die in an airplane crash.
You know, he graduated with Douglas MacArthur from the United States Military Academy in 1903, 5 years prior. He was stationed at Fort Myer with two other pilots. Orville Wright is involved in this story. They were test flying the plane, and they crashed.
And there's actually a photograph of the crash.
Thomas Selfridge perished in that crash, and now he has a certain base named after him.
He does, out by Harrison Township. So when you drive past Harrison Township, you'll know that in 1908, that was the last time the Cubs won the World Series, and the first person died in an airplane crash. He was buried in Arlington Cemetery.
All right, let's skip ahead in the rundown. We'll continue our 1908 history lesson in honor of the Cubs winning the World Series last night over the Indians momentarily. But first, on to bacon.
Bacon.
Here's how to avoid soft, chewy bacon that pulls out of the sandwich on the first bite. Don't you hate that? This is why I love Hunter House bacon cheeseburgers in Birmingham, because they have perfected the crispy but not burnt bacon. So when you get it on the little bacon or the cheeseburger slider, there's bacon in every bite. That's the secret, I think, to what makes Hunter House so good. But anyway, let's. You have a picture there. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
To get the flattest, crispiest bacon, J. Kenji Lopez at Serious Eats recommends you bake your bacon with two sheets, one on the bottom, one on top. Line the bottom baking sheet with aluminum foil and lay out a sheet of parchment on top of that. Boy, this is getting complicated. Place the bacon strips on the paper and try to avoid overlapping. Then parchment on top. Then place the second baking sheet on top of that and go at 425 or 25 to 30 minutes. Flat, super crispy, and ready to be placed on a sandwich or burger is the result.
Well, there it is.
Are you compelled?
I don't usually bake my bacon. I usually do it in a pan.
Wait, what did you say?
I said I usually cook my bacon just in a frying pan.
Well, and the thing is you have to be on top of it. You can't just throw it in there because it waffles up.
Yep.
And then you get burn raw. You've got to stay on top of it with the spatula in order to really cook it properly. What's going on with the cookie pot?
This is this is kind of cool. I don't know if I would get one of these, but these are pods that.
The Side Chef launched on Kickstarter for the world's first Wi-Fi connected cookie oven. This is being sort of made fun of as peak hipster or peak Pinterest, peak Zazzle, peak Kickstarter. Like, we've jumped the shark, in other words.
Yep.
people, you can just
We're overdoing
make
the
your own
pods.
cookie dough or get the Nestle Toll House, throw it in the oven for at 425 for 20 minutes, and you've got cookies.
You don't have
need
to
a
get the
special-
flour. You got to get the flour and the eggs and the.
Well, if you do it that way,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
But it promises a perfect cookie in 10 minutes. It's a Kickstarter thing, and I want to say this is like something like $200 or $249. And the idea here is, who's going to spend that to basically have the George Foreman grill of cookie makers
Yeah.
or bakers?
I don't understand, especially with all the. I mean, everything's so prepackaged. You're throwing away these pods with the Keurigs. I know the guy who invented the Keurig said it was the worst thing he'd ever done to the environment because those pods are just everywhere.
Because those K-Cups are everywhere. We have them here. Let's go back on our history lesson.
You know what that reminds me of, though, was Back to the Future, where they put that pizza in the little microwave, and it all of a sudden becomes a full.
It's like a George Jetson sort of thing.
And
Okay,
while
now,
we're on that subject, let's just take a look at this.
Hey, kid, I'm $100. Will you help save the clock tower?
I didn't know you had this pulled up.
Sorry, no. Come on, kid. That's an important historical landmark.
Look, some other time.
Lightning struck that thing 60 years ago.
Wait a minute. Cubs win World Series. Against Miami?
Yeah, it's something, huh? Who would have thought? 100 to 1 shot. I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season, put some money on the Cubs.
I just meant Miami. What did you just say?
I said I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season, put some money on the Cubbies.
Don't we all wish we could go back to the beginning of the season and put some money on the Cubbies?
Don't we all wish we could go back to 1985 when Back to the Future, the first one, was released? Remember his lace-up sneakers, that self-lacing? Well, let's go back even further in time than 1985 or 2015 for that matter. And the Converse Rubber Shoe Company was formed in Malden, Massachusetts in February of 1908. What would that be? 8 months before the Cubs last won the World Series. Rubberized footwear. It wasn't until 1915 the company began manufacturing athletic shoes for use on the tennis courts.
It's a good-looking shoe.
Look at producer John Steckroth breaking out the whole Greenfield Village slideshow here. Nice work.
Yeah, I still own a pair of Converse, but they didn't start producing the tennis shoe until, what was it? That was 1921, 1917. But it's amazing that shoe's been around for that long.
Yeah. Okay, also in 1908, Taft beat Jennings Bryan in the presidential election November 3rd after Teddy Roosevelt declined to run for a third term. So now you're up to speed on what was going on in presidential politics. Think about this. That was going on the last time the Cubs won the World Series. Now think about this election.
Yes. Well, I mean, at this point, I think everyone wanted Teddy Roosevelt to run for a third term, and he declined, whereas in this presidential election, that's not possible.
Well, he might get some write-in votes.
Yeah, he might get write-in votes.
Edward R. Murrow was born on April 25th of that year. Ian Fleming, author of James Bond, born May 28th. And, Jimmy Stewart, born on May 20th.
No, you listen here. I don't want any plastics, and I don't want any ground floors.
A dog named... Okay, let's go back to... hey, this is important. The Ford Model T.
Yes.
Priya Man, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
You always get me when I'm like eating or doing something embarrassing.
So tell us about in 1908, the vehicle had a 4-cylinder engine that produced 20 horsepower and a top speed of 45 miles per hour, fuel economy of between 13 and 21 miles per gallon, $850.
The average wage was 22 cents, though, so that took almost 2 years to save up for. It took a little while. This was
Think about that. People were tooling around. That's how long ago the last time the Cubs won the World Series.
The Model T started being produced that year at this plant, the Ford Pickett Avenue plant.
That is amazing. I'm not even mad. It's amazing. Now, fast forward to cool glasses, reflecticles, like spectacles, reflecticles. Ray-Ban style frames that are embedded with the kind of retro reflective cat eye materials used for highway markers, making them reflective at 500 yards at night and nearly that visible by day. Again, here's another Kickstarter. Only $85 a pair. Comes in 7 colors. Scott Urban is the guy that came up with this,
Kind
in
of cool.
case you were wondering. Would you buy
Reflective.
reflectacles?
You know, you're out on the bike. It's late. You don't want to get hit, but you need to see. Yeah, maybe.
Just go through all the slides that you have
Okay.
without commentary.
Oh wow, our show is.
You're done? That's it? No, we got to go back.
That's all we got. But I do have some pictures. This is the 1908 Chicago Cubs. Those are.
Wait, you have what?
That's the 1908 Chicago Cubbies.
Oh.
Right here.
Okay.
It was the winning team. Actually, I've got a graphic of that. It was the scorecard from the last game.
Oh, of course, it was over the Tigers. Of course, we have to bring that up.
Well, yeah. And that's the celebration afterwards. They had a big party.
All right, Cubs and Red Sox. After 108 years, the Cubs have finally won another World Series. And while nearly all Cubs fans are flying high right now, one Red Sox fan, Josh Levin of our corporate cousin, Slate.com, said that they should beware of a mighty crash heading their way. The Red Sox broke their own curse in 2004, while finally winning a World Series is the ultimate high. The feeling does wear off, Josh assures Cubs fans. You can never get back to that happy euphoria again. It's not all bad. He says all of the pain watching them lose was worth it for the moment when they finally won, even if it's only a fleeting moment in sports fans' lives that they, So I remember I thought for sure the 06 Tigers were going to win the World Series. I was fortunate enough to be 13 when the Tigers won in 84, and I was elated and overjoyed, but it had been just long enough, 22 years, including that epic, awful season in 03 where I was like right there in 06. I would have been doing cartwheels, and I would have been that Maglio home run. I still get chills and a tear in the eye when I see that. To put them in the World Series, but it's fleeting. It doesn't last. Bill Simmons, the sports guy, was like, he's a big Boston. So when they finally won and then won again in 07, he was just like, now what? That was part of my identity.
Yeah.
Lions fans, what would you do if the Lions ever actually won the Super Bowl or a playoff game? Part of your identity would be stripped away. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
Sundays would never feel the same.
That's right. We would lose some important defining thing. I mean, the Lions need Theo Epstein to be their general manager, I think. He's the curse breaker. He's taken the Red Sox and the Cubs to the mountaintop. And that gives you the right to get drunk on champagne with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Which, have you seen that clip?
Yeah, he was going wild last night.
Bowl of bacon. Hang on. I'm going to check something here real quick. Bowl of bacon. We asked, top 5 answers on the board, name something you do with free time. John, what do you do with free time?
What do I do with my free time? I like to go bike riding.
That's how you get to work in the summer. That's not really a free time.
That is transportation.
You plan elaborate parties and install yourself as the master of ceremonies.
I do that. I'm into
Talk
photography. I'm into computers, obviously.
Ladies, John is single.
Yes.
As is Jacob, I believe. Jacob, are you?
I'm not.
You're not. You're spoken
Jacob's
for.
taken.
Oh no.
Well, too bad for you. There was a lass on the Facebook comments yesterday inquiring about your...
Breaking hearts, what can I say?
Now, Christine Guma says, what is free time? She's a working mom with 3 kids. Now, I got to agree with her. I don't have a whole lot
Bowl
of
of
free time on my
bacon.
hands.
We asked Bacon Nation what they said, and Francine does volunteer work for Clinton Township Goodfellows. Cynthia rides her bike. She is into sewing, walking, watching TV, cooking, and visiting friends. Nick hits the gym or the range. Kim Wanmacher takes a nap in her free time. Gina, in my free time, I actually sit down, she says. By the way, coming up at the top of the hour on Lit Did, that's live in the D, the Lit Did, live in the D. John, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Today is National Sandwich Day.
What? Are we bringing sandwiches in?
No. I had hoped to have on a popular local sandwich shop that is one of my favorites, and some sort of wires got crossed or something, and so they're not going to be on. I am making a custom sandwich for Live in the D. It's called the Avanti, after the Avanti Market.
Okay.
I am constructing this sandwich only using what's available in our WDIV commissary.
You had me excited for a little while, and now I don't know.
I thought you were going to call it the Catanese.
No, that will be a different sandwich that we dubbed the. You just reminded me. I have more ingredients I have to get out of the market. What time is it?
It is 9:30.
9:30. All right.
We started early today, so.
Okay, so
Got
let's
time.
wrap this up because I have to go make a sandwich for Live in the D. So we'll see you at the top of the hour on the TV on Local 4 WDIV.
Stay classy, Detroit.